What up, everybody? It's your boy Pyro, Slays Music, and today we're checking out Netherwalker's Odyssey of Repair. Dropped November 17th, 2025. This is a sound discovery where we check out music from the current year, and we saw this dropped a lot in the comments, and we threw it up for a YouTube vote, and it won. So here we are. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube community that voted for this. I know it's brutally heavy. I've checked out one other track from Netherwalker earlier in the year. Shout out to my boy A Wolf. He sent it to us via Patreon, and yeah, that one's wild. There's such a crazy breakdown. And this album does look a little long. 14 tracks, 56 minutes. It's on the longer side for me. But that's okay. Nonetheless, let's jump in and get it started.
Do you ever think we'll be heroes someday? When we grow up? I know we will. And we'll save the whole kingdom someday together. Yeah, together!
Keep it rolling. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, so I did feel like so I like the prologue actually. But I felt like thine king weeps for mercy. I felt like that intro was just a little how do you put it? Redundant to the prologue. I felt like maybe just should have had a few of those, the high. Hold on. Yeah, that violin. I felt like it should have had a little less of that. But then again, it's only a 2-minute and 45-second track. I didn't even look at that because I was taken aback by the screams. The belching's interesting. Oh man, I'll give him credit. It sounds a little bit different than a lot of deathcore. I mean, it definitely has that like wet kind of scream going on that my buddy Chuck would have absolutely despised. So that's pretty cool. Battle of Treddem. I have heard this one. We're playing through anyways. I see it. Tree dismemberment will make us born again. Huh. That's just the very end of this. This actually does have kind of a story, and I decided to pull up the lyrics here because this is the second time I've heard this track. Not the second time. We reacted to it. It's popped up a few times since reacting to it, and I do really like it. Interesting, though, that they have 2 songs right in a row doing kind of the same breakdown style on this album. I will say, I don't know how I hope. I mean, we've got a long way to go through this album still, so we'll see. I got to say, I love the burst of guitar speed just out of middle of nowhere in both of these last tracks. This one, obviously, like I said, I've heard this before, and, you know, typically when we do album reactions, we do all the way through even the stuff we've heard. That way you can really judge what the album is as a whole. So I'm not, like, trying to reutilize things that I've heard already and trying to, like, you know, make money off it or some shit. I legitimately just want to hear it as a whole, if that makes sense. But I do want to apologize, because typically I announce that before I dive into the song, and I just kind of clicked, and then I was like, man, that sounds really familiar. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because it's in my playlist already, and we reacted to it. But I didn't really check out the track list. I assumed that song was from a while ago. Let me take a gander right now. It did drop in 2025. I just guess I didn't realize it or remember. But this dropped back in February. Okay. And again, I like that the differential for me, a lot of music that sounds like this, I love the sound. However, a lot of times the lyrics get a little too, I don't know, like weird shit. You know what I mean? And I'm just, like, I can understand it from a creative standpoint or artist standpoint. But some stuff I just don't want to, I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? Lyrics are my bread and butter. I love that shit. So far here, we actually feel like we have a story. Some of it's a little brutal. That's given for the sound. But yeah, it's fun. An opulent pillaging of treacherous goblin encampment. Jesus Christ. Here's my first thoughts on this. Necrogoblicon. I got it. Necrogoblicon should make a diss track towards Netherwalker for this one. I mean, this is just encouraging butchery of goblins. I mean, how much more racist can you get? Poor goblinkins, man. The poor goblinkin. What you gonna do? Terrible stuff. All right, so this is really brutal. At times, those screams almost feel like he's mumbling, which is what? I don't know if I've ever heard that. There's a couple times there's bursts of kind of that hollow snare sound, and I freaking hate that. I'll be straight with you guys. It's kind of funny because it's something I developed listening to metalcore, deathcore. I really, really do not like that hollow sounding snare. Hate it, in fact. And then when I started listening to punk music, the amount of complaints I've gotten, all because metalcore and deathcore ruined me. Like punk definitely has, not all of them, but there's a lot of it there, and I really don't like it. I don't know why. It's like nails on a chalkboard. But then again, a lot of sounds here are pretty abrasive. Let's be for real, right? So it's not the worst thing, but it's weird because I could live with everything else pretty much in here. Even the belching, it's not so bad. This track's gonna go on a playlist. Sea of Sirens. Let's keep it moving. Okay, this is easy. My favorite song we've heard so far off this album. So many swap ups. I like the story itself as well. In fact, story wise, I'm going to give a little bit of background here about myself, just so it's relevant, so you guys understand. So, my buddy Chuck and I, who do reactions, we're a couple of dummies, but we always have loved I can't talk. Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons. I grew up reading Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms. There's plenty of other, fantasy series that I've really, really enjoyed. So back in like 2016, we kind of set off on starting a publishing company, and we put out 3 anthologies of just like collection of stories based in a world that we made up. And it was really awesome because we wrote out kind of a generalized idea of what happens in the world, or what kind of creatures and whatnot. And in our second anthology, The Hunters and the Hunted, which took place in basically just follows like monster hunters and maybe the monsters that they're hunting, right? And that's the theme. Shante Van Biljon wrote a story called Requiem for a Fisherman in that anthology, and it really reminded me of this. It also has to do with sirens, and man, I really love that story. It made me actually want to go back and read that. But yeah, no, this song itself is really cool, and like I like that this band's actually putting some lyrics in that aren't just like flesh ripping apart, essentially. That's what a lot of these bands I feel like are singing about a lot of times. And that's there earlier in the album, but not here as much. I like it. It's like basically kind of a journey by, or like, I don't know if it's exactly through a siren's den, or it kind of feels like the adventure they happen upon it and then kind of keep moving with their adventure here in this story. And I really like that. But yeah, if anybody's, definitely a cool story by Shante Van Biljon. So shout out to her and Requiem for a Fisherman. That was a good ass story. So this song itself is going to go on a playlist. Honestly, this one's really high for me. Again, I love those swaps where they had like the acoustic guitar in there as well. Like very nice swap up. This looks like we have kind of like an intermission, so we'll roll this right into the next one. Eyes of Obscuria.
My lord, a message.
You may speak.
We have received word from the Obscura. The prince and his band of peasants, they have found the oracle in the Siren Sea.
They are mistaken to listen to that old hag.
Yes, my lord. They are foolish indeed. It appears she has sent them on a hunt for a powerful ancient relic, guarded by the Crystal Knight.
Oh, this is a story. I love that.
Relying on an old children's tale. How pitiful.
It is rather embarrassing indeed, sire. The Obscura have spotted them on the outskirts of Sedora, where they have stopped to rest. It seems they are planning to head through the wretched city to look for the relic in the mountains. What shall I do, my lord?
Send the Dark Legion. Let Sedora take its toll, and the survivors be brought to me in chains. I must make an example of them. They will suffer.
As you wish, my lord.
Dude sounds like a demonic predator half the time, man. I tell you what, those clicks and whatnot, out of control, out of control. Again, following the story, I'm liking it. Are we getting to a point yet where it's starting to blend together a little bit? Maybe, but I'm doing kind of a read along with the lyrics here a little bit just to kind of follow the general story. This one, I am the one who takes the blame for all your effing mistakes. When will you learn to take responsibility for your lust, your waste of life? Drowning your own body can't help the urge to be a vessel controlled by its thoughts of suffering. I'm stuck living with shame, for I have become a servant to instinct. These streets will make you crave its indulgent display. Repent or be enslaved to endless suffering, bodies depraved, reaching to pull you down. My lust calls it. I must ignore its sounds. We must stay true. In this city of seduction, you must repent. Don't give in to corruption. I'll show you where you are, a fool who lives to rot. Enter death, now you suffer. They want to keep us here. And now we're filled with fear. We must repent, for we are the chosen. I have become a servant to instinct. I take this life and piss it away for my addiction to sin. Repent for him. Ooh, very dark and brooding. I think just a little bit, man, there's a lot going on in these, a lot, you know what I mean? But I feel like vocally we could use a little bit of a swap up here and there. We're getting a lot of those chuggy sounds, and I'm a little worried because we're only halfway through the album. That being said, let's dive back into Tavern. I did enjoy Servant to Instinct, but let's keep it going here. The hell? The hell is this? Chrono Trigger? JRPG vibes for sure, though. Not anymore. man, that was honestly the shakeup I was looking for. We had nice little breakups in that song. Maybe vocally we didn't get a whole lot of Swamp Up, but that doesn't matter. That's a good song right there. And continues the story as well. And this one kind of feels like obviously a tavern brawl to some extent. At first, let me see here. Open your eyes to see a whimsical place to drink. Enter inside, and to see the guards with their swords unsheathed. The heroes will stop to drink, but they will seek no rest, for it has been prophesied that they die. Bartender, I'd request a drink, for it could be my last. Dark wizards are watching and follow. Quickly to stop our quest. Hear their footsteps approaching. The wizards enter with hell in their eyes, and say, "Stop and pray to your enemy." Tables flipping over with the drinks spilling in the air. The guards will try and take us alive, for torture rotting in cellars with no light. Surrounded by swords, we can't escape the wizard's grasp. We hope we might live to drink again. Bartender, I request a drink. It could be my last. Okay, so yeah, like you get to hit they stopped at a tavern and they were ambushed. Okay, and like again, I'm loving the storytelling. It's buried in those screams, but that's okay for people like me. I'm sure someone that's like, I just want a good story is not real thrilled about that, but it's okay. I'm sure there's other stories and songs that you can enjoy. But this is a ride so far. Frost Troll. I've been eyeing this sucker the entire time since we started like track 2. Or 3, excuse me, after Battle of Treddum. Is it Treddum? Yeah, Treddum. I'm just going to call it that. Battle of Treddum, I was starting to look at the track list, and I saw this with Finn Kapnick, and pretty stoked. Let's jump on in. Frost Troll.
To stand against the forces of evil, I call unto you, swing
thine fists!
Oh my God. Let me tell you, when that dude's like, swing thy fists, your boy is getting far away from the mosh pit. Because that is like a guarantee you're asking for some crowd killing. And I do not mess with it, dude. No way. My dad complains about moshing. If he could see a crowd of crowd killers all doing their thing at once, he would shit a brick, just straight up. Just straight up. Oh, God. I personally am not a fan of that shit at all. But that would be the time for it right there. Swing thine fists. What a cool drop, honestly. Reminded me of like something like, I don't know, it had some Gandalfish qualities, if you will, in that right there. Pretty cool. It's about them killing a frost troll and continuing along their journey to destiny will decide.
The Legend of the Crystal Knight. A tale told through the ages, yet remains shrouded in mystery.
We're going to roll through.
Very little is known of his existence, and no mortal eye has ever beheld his visage, nor the shimmering crystal armor that he dons. Some wise scholars speculate that he is a half-god, a being of mortal flesh, imbued with divine power.
Demigod.
Yet others believe he hails not from this mortal coil at all. Centuries have drifted by like the sands of an hourglass, and countless of the mightiest warriors from our world had ventured into his treacherous dungeon. But alas, not a single soul has emerged to recount their tale. And now, for the warriors foretold in the prophecy, it appears they have no choice but to confront him. They cling to the hope that he possesses the key to vanquish the encroaching darkness. Their people, the kingdoms of our realm, and even their sworn enemies place their faith in them. Everything rests upon this moment, the hero's quest to defeat the Crystal Knight.
Okay, so we fought the Crystal Knight. I don't know who won this, to be honest with you. It actually, at first, kind of sounded like they were a little full of themselves, and then it didn't go quite the way they wanted, and they were running, but the dude can see in the dark, and that's the way it kind of ends. So I'm not sure. There was a part where they were talking about his bones turning to dust and stuff, so I thought they defeated him. But after that, it was legitimately, his bones have turned to dust, his mastery is lackluster, run, for he can see in the darkness. I can feel blood filling my mouth as his crystals draw me closer. Our chance is to separate his armor, match my blade with expertise, or quickly perish. Failing the prophecy, set me free. So I don't know why I think it was trying to give an example here. We reach the final corridor. He stands to guard the shrine. To fight the legend is a wonderful way to die. Pierce his armor, fight to the death. He'll fall to my sword. The crystal light will not save his life. His bones have turned to dust. His bones have turned to dust. That's what's throwing me. Oh, is it saying that he's spectral maybe? Maybe that's what it's saying. Maybe they're trying to say he's spectral. And seeing this dude floating right here, I'm assuming that's him. And he does look awful spectral, but I'm not 100% sure. Dude's got crystal armor. Who knows? Who knows? Let's continue and see how the story goes. The Elden Staff. Also, my dumbass just realized it's not Odyssey of Repair, it's Odyssey of Respair. Okay, I feel like that was a little unnecessary. A 3-minute instrumental, randomly kind of placed. Wait, was that Foley? Yeah, I don't think I heard any vocals in there. Excuse me. And I'm still kind of like on what's happened. What's happened with the Crystal Knight? Did we kill him? What just happened? For Princess Elizabeth, we fly.
Trusting moonlight.
Okay, there were some nice swap ups here. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm getting a little fatigued with the sound. But let's run through these lyrics real quick. Again, I was happy for those swap ups, so it was nice. Take to the skies as we touch the sunrise, the wind sings. So I'm assuming they did defeat the Crystal Knight. Obviously now we're flying. The wind sings as we fly near the tower of the princess. With her last hope she sends us. We hope the heavens divine blessing to give us courage, for what awaits is darkness. We must slay vessels of the damned, cryptic. Flying creatures stop at nothing to serve their purpose, gnashing at the life forces of the last light that carries hope. We'll try to fight the evil lord's might. Tears fall as her voice echoes through me. Take this life, don't think twice. There is good in each of you that will ascend. You'll fly, for you are the light. I am honored to know you will hear my goodbyes. Arise, for the dark lord is nigh. Pierce the sky, for you're running out of time. Trusting moonlight, for it keeps us alive, guiding us through the night sky. I'm not gonna lie, I love reading it like it's Dr. Seuss because it's just funnier that way. We push into the blackened depths, hearing whispers of foes behind. We must now make it in time to defend our people. The angels watch over us. Claws of treacherous creatures will pierce. Through mechanical gears, my sword will cut. Through this flying regime, spilling blood, with tears of joy I sing, for our perished king and those who fought and died to protect the innocent. Let the swarm consume me, gnashing through gargoyle veins, fangs sinking through my skin as I start cutting through them. They fall to the light, we fly, for we are the light. We are honored to know that we heard your goodbyes. Arise, for the dark lord is nigh. We pierce the sky, for you gave us your life. Go. By you I'm sworn, I'll hold on to your words, as they will live on through my sword. Forever I scream with the people who loved you and those who now beg to be cleansed. I will endlessly fight. Your heart rests in the ground, so I fly for you. Breathe in, open your eyes to the light instilled in you. You have been chosen to embody the pure. Vanquish him. Make him pay for the crimes against life. Take the staff and use it to prevail. There is still time for you. Okay, I have a different theory now. Reading that through that. Are we still battling the night? And then it's kind of like, is this doing like a Lord of the Rings thing where like when Frodo is fighting that big ass, ugly, fugly ass spider, okay? And he has that quick moment of like flashback to Galadriel giving him the gift of light. That's kind of what we have here, I feel like. Oh, maybe I'm wrong completely. But that's the way I'm going to take it. Otherwise, it's kind of an unhinged-ass story. Lyrically, I'm not going to lie to you. We don't really have a confirmation whether the Crystal Guy's dead, but it didn't make it sound like it. We have a whole instrumental track, and now we have a song talking about a freaking princess, seeing them off and saying goodbye, and then kind of also still talking about battles. The thing that's kind of really makes things confusing, the mechanical, the beasts that are mechanical, now we're talking about them bleeding. And then gargoyles aren't mechanical. Gargoyles are innate. No, they're magical creatures. They're magical creatures. They turn, we all know what a fucking gargoyle is. I grew up with the classic, my Gargoyles TV show, cartoon. Fucking so good. So good. If you don't know about Gargoyles cartoon, you need to YouTube that shit for sure. I'm probably seeing through some nostalgia lenses, but whatevs. Army of Darkness. This is our last track, and I'm hoping that this is what I'm thinking. It's like, this is the battle, right? This is the battle. We'll find out. Oh, we don't have lyrics. Wonderful. There's no lyrics. At least not on this site.
flesh.
Dixi et hypermonium, setum spiros vir, per mortem meam, orbis resurgit.
Okay, so I googled the lyrics because they aren't up here, and we're gonna dive through those now that we listen to the song itself and kind of have the sound down. Let's see what the finale held in lyrics. The chorus is, "I can feel the darkness as the moon holds the sun. Townsfolk pray for our guidance as we are approaching the gated walls. Arise for the clash of centuries, past knights and armies. Your tears for our king have fueled our prophecy. We conquered and plundered to claim our true Aegis. Spread your grand tale, for we shall reclaim our throne." Verse 1, "Head for the tunnels, walls lit by fires. As we approach the catacombs, we draw our plans of engagement. It is time, for he will die. His end is near. Serfs will attack from inside as we strike true from above. His legion will not survive." Then we have another language. Let's hold on. We're on Genius. So this is Latin for "Fate will find a way. Oh, in a moment, a victor is born from blood. I have lived and I will die free. But while I breathe, I hope." So that's what the Latin says in the first verse. We're going to go to verse 2 here. "At dawn we rise, prep them to fight for the good of mortals. Night falls upon the land. I stir restless anticipation. What if our strength can't withstand his wrath? I must get rest for the battle." Verse 3, "Hold form for the brawl. Go, we fly above, fighting for our kingdom. Swords clash below. Undead knights die in haste. The wizard's power have grown since our last engagement. He will not die. We must fly." So they ran. I see. Okay. "Wizard's wand gives him his powers. We must destroy it. He is too strong. How will this fight end? Flank the sides while I grab it. The Elden staff gives us the valor to prevail. Break down. Peasants fight under us. Battles lost. We are all that's left now. The wizard's powers dwindle without his wand." We have more Latin. This is Latin for "The brave are born in flame and steel, and I will find a way, or I will make one. Virtue rejoices in trial." Guitar solo, verse 5, "Power of the Elden Stav's core to triumph. We surge in twilight, move to hold him. I use the Stav's charge." What Stav? More Latin. "Oh, look at the end. Remember to die. Stav will unleash. Death is the door of life. Vanquish him. We fight to save the place. We call our last chance, or we die. Malfeasible. Malfeasance for profit. Yield, for you're outmatched by me. They will now round up the townspeople. We will be too weak for you, but the Elden Stav will bring victory." More Latin. "I remain undefeated." The outro says, I have lived and I will die, but while I breathe, I hope. Through my death, the world will rise again. Okay, so there we go, guys. That's the Odyssey of Respair. We are going to dive in and talk about this a little bit. All right, so first off, I really liked the, I got to say, for a deathcore album, a lot of times by the time I get to the end, I am a little fatigued by the sound. And they did do a decent job swapping it up here. But I think the cons are pretty evident for me. I want this story to be way more concise. Like, there were way too, like, almost every story, almost every song kind of explained the end and what was happening at the very end of the song. The Crystal Knight leads off and they're running, but then we jump right into an instrumental, the Eldenstav. And if that wasn't instrumental, I missed vocals completely, which is really shocking. And the instrumental here that they utilized didn't really give much anything to the story. So I have a big issue with that, with that instrumental piece that they just kind of threw in there. And then, and also it kind of sounds similar to stuff that we've heard throughout this album already. So it kind of takes away some of the glory that we have built by the project. Now, I'm not going to say the lyrics are bad. It's just towards the end, it really just kind of falls apart and it starts almost getting like, armies and creatures and magic and swords. Like, it's like ADHD brain almost. You know what I mean? Like, it's jumping all over the place. It has a general story in mind, but it's like keeping that hidden and just talking about what's happening instead of like kind of breaking it down for the listener. I personally would rather have it broken down for me a little bit. I could still get a picture of what's happening, but right after the Crystal Knight, I was like, wait a second. They ran, okay. But what's happening now? We have an instrumental piece. I'm losing the flow of the story. And then you jump to Princess and they're talking about flying. And you're like, what in the, why are we flying now? We were just fighting the Crystal Knight. What's going on here? We fled. Okay, I got that. So you fled and then you're returning to, it just starts getting really complex from there. So me, I definitely would have cleaned up that end lyrically. I feel like I don't know. It really kind of irritated me. But that's all I think I have on the negative. Well, some of the sounds, we really leaned on the Predator breakdown and the belching breakdown. Like, there's so many other sounds and breakdowns from hardcore, metalcore, deathcore that you could have just thrown in there to swap it up from that the belching sound. Because every time it happened, it took away from the other tracks before it that already utilized it and made it redundant, in my opinion. Like, it just leaned a little heavy on that. Positives, I did like those breakdowns when they were used. Like, I just wanted them less sporadic. So the breakdowns were gnarly when they happened, especially the earlier ones. I did enjoy the lyrics. I liked the story as a whole, but again, towards the end, started falling apart for me a little bit. I like the idea. I do think the album went on a little long. I wouldn't have mind seeing like 2 or 3 tracks kind of trimmed out of this to make that story a little more concise. And also you're letting your sound not get overused. So you don't have, like me, feeling fatigued by the end of this album. So definitely a few less tracks. Like, I think this would have been perfect, maybe around like 12 tracks, maybe even 11 if you want it real cut thin. But some of the tracks could have, and sadly, the tracks I would have cut were all like the later ones. Of the first 9, maybe even 10, fantastic. Love those. The interludes were really cool. Really loved how they utilized those here to really advance the story. And honestly, I think I wouldn't have hated if they leaned into that a little more and went the opposite route of what I'm saying and like fluffed it out, just like 2 more songs with an interlude explaining that they fled after the Crystal Knight battle and they took to the air, right? And then you kind of run into the Princess Elizabeth when we fly. But yeah, I don't think the instrumental there did its job for me, at least as a listener. But yeah, I think this is really unique because I haven't seen a whole lot of people take and say, hey, we're going to write a story that started with A and then you're going to take the whole journey. You know what I mean? I haven't really ran into that a whole lot, especially a nice medieval fantasy journey. So I want to be crystal freaking clear. I want another album like this. This is awesome. I just want a little bit more diversity. Yes, you're brutal. I get it. I know we got to be brutal. But I'm telling you, I think something to kind of swap up the sound. If you were going to do that instrumental, add some acoustics and make it a little lighter feel than the rest of the album, so that brutality really sticks out. My editor always said, when you're writing a villain, for example, you make it, the villain can be super dark, because as things happen, it lightens that story as the heroes come through. I don't know. I love the artwork here we got going on. Nice little battle scene. That's cool. I would definitely come back and listen to Netherwalker again, even, with my complaints. I just think that a little bit of practice makes perfect. My first anthology that we put out, for our publishing company, the first couple stories I had were way worse than anything here. So that being said, I just think, as like all writers, the more you work at your craft, the better it gets. And I would love to see something like this again. Just maybe the journey not so long, if you will, or space it so it feels like it's been a long time, but the tracks don't overwhelm the listener. Anything else that I can think of to mention? I know I harped on those lyrics there towards the end, but I will say I did really appreciate those. Like the first 9 tracks lyrically were fantastically done. And it just got a little muddy there towards the end for me. So let's talk about the rating for this album, and then I'm gonna go inside because I'm cold. It's what do we got today? 48. It's not as bad as normal, but it's I've been out here for a bit. Rating wise, I don't think it's a bad album by any means. I don't think it's a mid album. I was really pleased with a lot of the sounds I was getting here. The mixing was nice. There's a lot of work put into this. I just think by the end it sounded a little samey. And again, the lyrics kind of fell apart for me, but I'm just pleased it's not just like fucking about people eating each other's flesh or some stupid shit that deathcore normally does. Just like, why? It feels typically that kind of style. I know a lot of people are like, you're soft or something like that. To me, it just feels like really try hard. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm trying to be edgy, trying to be different than everybody. Dead bodies. Shut the fuck up. So it was nice to get a little mixture going on here, and especially a nice fantasy story that I can connect to. Like I said, as a fantasy author, I think, like I said, the writing when it was really popping for me there at the first 9 tracks, man, I was really enthralled. It made me want to go out and write again. So shout out to Grayson Yurty for the lyrics. Very, very nice. Like I said, just maybe a little clarity towards the end of this album would have been nice. But practice makes perfect. That's the best part of being a creative. If you're willing to say, maybe. And then again, I'm just one dumbass. Who knows what everybody else is saying about this album? So obviously, don't maybe take me too serious. My opinion is strictly that it's not worth more than what I'm, With this kind of stuff, I typically I'm just trying to discover different kinds of music, and this is a discovery. I love the story here. I love the brutality of the sounds. Very nice. Make sure you guys go out and support Netherwalker if you're a fan. Looks like they will be going to Rockville, Daytona Beach, May 10th. So if you want to catch them live, that would be a good start. But yeah, definitely go buy some merch. If you got a little extra change laying around and you're a big fan, share the music with your friends. Basically like YouTube did with me. Shout out to the community for not only suggesting this, but voting it for me to check out. Definitely appreciate that. I don't think I have anything else to add. I'm Pyroslay's Music. Hit that like and the sub if you enjoyed the content. Come join our community and embrace the chaos. Until next time, toodaloo, motherfucker.